What's going on, Jerome's? Kevin O'Connell came in and transformed the Vikings culture as well as the offense, and it should and could have been in the running for a coach of the year last year. Ultimately went to Brian Daboll. They don't count in playoffs, but he really helped Kirk Cousins have the best season of his career, as well as Justin freaking Jefferson doing Jefferson things, winning Offensive Player of the Year. And Fantasy Pros did up a rankings of head coaches for fantasy purposes only. Now, a lot of people got mad at this list, where it went a little bit viral because people didn't understand what the premise was. Again, head coach rankings for fantasy football purposes. This is not a ranking of the coach's merit overall. This is not actual football. This is in the fantasy football context, right? And a lot of people were so mad at, like, how was Mike Tomlin 22? How was Belichick 19? All that stuff. Although they did spell DeMeco Ryans' name wrong, which... but head coach Kevin O'Connell clocks in at number 14 and seems a little bit low. A little bit low. We'll get into this list in a second, but presenting our case, presenting our case. So 2022 Vikings offense, 8th in points, 7th in yards, 8th in red zone, 5th in PFF offensive grade overall. And then fantasy-wise, Cousins clocked in at QB7, although, which is kind of amazing since Cousins doesn't really run, but him clocking it at 7 is pretty damn good. Dalvin, despite a down year, career low yards per carry, running back 9. Jefferson, obviously wide receiver 1, and Hawkinson ended up being tight end 4. Of course, asterisk is being weeks 9 through the end of the season when he came over to the Vikings. And then fantasy scoring wise, oh look, what happened? What happened? So the summation of all offensive players, so total for offensive points average per game, the Vikings clocked in at 74.5. Dose, second in the league behind only the Kansas City Chiefs, which, but ahead of the Chargers, the Bengals, the Bills, the Eagles, the Seahawks, and the Dolphins. All these teams regarded as fantasy football juggernauts and fertile grounds, but the Vikings, clocked in at number 2. Again, what happened? Kevin O'Connell is going to go to Tony Stark this season, and he should be shoo-in for Coach of the Year. But going through the rest of these rankings, so Andy Reid, 1, respect. Number 2, Sean Payton. I have a lot of issues where the Broncos' offense last year under Nathaniel Hackett, Rodgers' guy, was just absolutely poopy. It was absolutely atrocious. Let Russ cook. He burnt everything. I don't trust it. I really don't. Can Javonte Williams get back from that ACL? Maybe. Even though they tried to get rid of Sutton and Judy all off season long, can they bounce back to form? Maybe. I don't know. Sean McVay, respect. Although, I don't trust Cam Akers. Their offensive line took a step back. Stafford is washed. I mean, you still have Cooper Kupp, but who else do you really have? There's not really much going on out there. Sean McDermott, Buffalo. Now, McDermott's a defensive guy. But of course, when you have Josh Allen, when you have Stephon Diggs, you're going to put up numbers. Pete Carroll, again, also a defensive guy. But you have DK, you have Geno throwing a great deep ball to Lockett, and now you have JSN, as well as you got Charbonnet working with Walker. So maybe they'll get something done. McCarthy, Shanahan's too low. Even though, you could say fantasy numbers went down when Purdy went in, but in terms of actual football, they were extremely efficient. You could say that Kittle took a huge step back. He just didn't have the chemistry with Brock Purdy. Maybe it's an Iowa State thing. Who knows? But it is really weird because at Iowa State, Brock Purdy had really good chemistry with their tight end Kohler. So, the whole thing. And also, if you're a quarterback who takes care of the football and doesn't make a lot of turnovers, plays within the offense, you should be targeting the tight end quite a bit. But I digress. LeFleur, although he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, working with Jordan Love in that running game, sure. Then you have Doug Peterson. I love Doug. I'll be your Doug. Nick Sirianni. I don't know. I do think that Shane Steichen was more of the offensive guru there. We'll see what happens as they switch coordinators. Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a special teams guy, but he gets credit for having Lamar Jackson, who always has a high floor when he's on the field because of the rushing totals. Also, with Todd Monken and going to open up the passing game, so we'll see. Zach Taylor and Cincy. Zach Taylor's a little bit too low. So you have Burrow, you have Mixon, you have Chase, you have Boyd, you have Higgins. Higgins. How is Zach Taylor that low? Frank Reich coming into Carolina. How is Frank Reich ahead of Kevin O'Connell? I like Frank Reich a lot. that the Panthers offense, especially with the rookie quarterback, how is he above Kevin O'Connell? Again, we need to go over that the Vikings offense was number 2 in fantasy scoring last year. No big deal. All right, so this is a pretty disrespectful list. Mike McDaniel is way too low. Arthur Smith, I think, is too low, although last year Atlanta's passing game was atrocious. I think that should improve this year. Dayball's obviously too low. So, I don't know. Like, a lot of people were up in arms about this ranking, and maybe this is one of those things where I feel like half of the content and infographics that get made and circulated on social media are just made, like, the rankings are made wrong just to get people talking about it because they're pissed off. And we fall for the trap every single time. It's what happens, man. But 14, way too low. But yeah, Kevin O'Connell's coming for Coach of the Year this year. Love to see it, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Kevin O'Connell ranked the 14th best fantasy football head coach. Let us know your thoughts on our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. We'll support the work. Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.